Do you ever feel like you're meant for more? You're smart. You got the ambition. You always had it. But your days are full and your calendar's packed and you're stuck in the same loop of tired mornings, long work days, and restless nights. So a few years ago, I hit a breaking point. I was 29 and on paper, things looked fine and going great. But I felt burnt out, really overextended, and honestly, I was disappointed with where I was in life. I looked around my life and thought, is this really it? So I made a decision. I sat down with a pen and paper and I wrote out the version of me that I want to become. It's not a resolution list, but it's a complete reinvention list. It included things like learning high income skills, starting the business I've been planning for years, building confidence, getting stronger and healthier, taking control of my finances, and traveling to see my bucket list destinations, and just living freely with the people that I love. Was it a bit ambitious? Probably. But that list became the seed for what will eventually reshape my life, reshape the way that I live and work, not overnight, but step by step over months and years. And I want to walk you through 6 lessons I learned on that journey so that if you're in the same place of feeling stuck, you don't stay there. And let me know what's the one area in your life where you feel most stuck right now. And if you're serious about making a change, I created something to help you. A completely free download, the Design Your Ideal Life Guide, even if you don't know your next big move. So let's start with the most important thing first. You don't need a perfect plan to start. And this one held me back for years. I thought I had to know exactly what I was doing before I could make a move. Like I needed a full career roadmap or a foolproof strategy, a clear version of how this will work out plan. But clarity doesn't show up when you're waiting. It shows up when you start doing. And I'll give you an example. For 10 years, I want to start a YouTube channel. 10 years. I kept telling myself things like, I'm not ready. What will people think? I need better video gear. Or I'm too late. Everyone's already started way ahead of me. But those were fears disguised as reasons to delay. The real fear for me is that I was scared to be seen starting from zero. Fear of being judged. The fear of failing. The fear of not being good enough. What I learned is this. We don't procrastinate because we're lazy. We procrastinate because the thing we're avoiding makes us feel vulnerable. So if you've been stuck in planning mode, know that the first step is the only one that matters. You don't need to know all the steps, just the next one. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move through fear, one small, imperfect action at a time. And ask yourself, what if this actually works out? You don't know unless you try. And if you keep waiting for certainty before starting, you'll look back a year from now and realize you moved nowhere. Start before you're ready. That's the only way anyone ever starts anything worth doing. The second shift is surprisingly simple. Your life is built by what you do daily, not what you say you want, not what you hope will happen, but what you actually do. When I was stuck, my days didn't match the future that I said I wanted. I wanted to be confident, but I stayed in my comfort zone of what's familiar and easy, and never doing the things that pushed me to challenge my fears. I wanted to build a business, but kept saying the timing is not right, or maybe next year. I wanted to be healthy, but skipped the gym more than I went, with my running shoes collecting dust in the closet. And then it hit me. My identity had to change first. So I started acting like the future version of me, even before I felt like her. I built the habit of showing up, even when I didn't feel like it. That's what moved me forward because repetition builds identity, and identity reshapes your life. And this quote from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, will always stay with me. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So let's break that down for a second. A goal is the outcome. I want to be fit. I want to be successful. I want to be confident. Now, a system is the process you repeat daily that makes this goal more likely. Going for a 20 minutes walk each morning, blocking off 2 hours a week to build your dream business, or practicing public speaking for 10 minutes a day. Systems are the infrastructure that turns your hope into habits, and your habits into real results. Without a system, a goal is just a wish. So ask yourself, what are the systems I need right now? Do they match the future that I say I want? And by trying to pick one habit a day, just one that aligns with the person you want to become, because those tiny actions, they compound to a life you're proud of. And one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is this: it's too late for me to change. It's not. It never is. You're not behind. You're just getting started. I went from studying finance to working in tech to starting a business to becoming a creator. At every point, I felt like a beginner again, and none of it was linear. None of it was according to plan. And I used to think that was a problem. But now, I see it as one of my greatest strengths. We've been taught that success is a straight line. But in today's world, the straight line doesn't exist anymore. Success Stories in Range by David Epstein, it really makes a strong case for this. He argues that the people who thrive today aren't the ones who specialize early and stay in one lane forever. They're the ones who explore, especially in a world that's changing faster than ever. They try different things. They develop breadth. They pick up tools from different experiences and combine them in ways that others can't. Think about Roger Federer. He didn't specialize early. He played a bunch of sports before choosing tennis, and it actually made him a stronger athlete. Or take Frances Hesselbein, who didn't take on her first leadership role until she was in her 50s, and eventually becoming the CEO of Girl Scouts of the USA, an advisor to US presidents. That would never happen if she had written herself off for starting too late. It's okay or even smart to zigzag in your path, to switch roles, your industry, or even identities as you learn more about yourself and the world. That insight gave me permission to stop seeing my pivots as failures and start seeing them as training. And obviously, I was scared every time I made a shift. And I also questioned myself constantly. But I also knew that staying stuck just to feel safe, it wasn't worth it. And honestly, that's how growth feels: awkward and uncertain. You might look around and think everyone else has it all figured out. They don't. I stopped expecting myself to figure it all out because no one really does. Life isn't about knowing exactly how to navigate every step. It's about being curious and courageous enough to take the next one. So don't compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 30. Give yourself permission to explore, to pivot, to evolve. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to experiment until it starts to make sense. There's one thing I wish someone had told me earlier in life. There is no perfectly safe path. Playing it safe, that might actually be your biggest risk of all. Because the world doesn't reward you for staying invisible. It rewards you for showing up and creating leverage in your life. I used to think that if I just work hard, quietly in the background, put my head down, someone will eventually notice, that my talent would speak for itself. But the real truth is that if you're invisible, no one can send opportunities your way. No matter how ambitious you are, no matter how skilled you are. Even though standing out can feel really risky, as if someone or everyone is judging you, the truth is that playing it safe in work or in life is even riskier. And those who stay in their comfort zones are usually the first to struggle when layoffs happen or unexpected challenges come up in their lives. In a world full of noise, blending in is a strategy of being forgotten. That doesn't mean you need to shout or perform or fake who you are. It means you need to commit strategically to become visible on your own terms. Now, whether that's speaking at more work, starting the personal brand you've been thinking about, or just owning your space in the room and at the table, it's not about ego. It's about making it easier for the right people to find you. Because when you hide, you're not just protecting yourself from rejection. You're also blocking the doors that could lead to your next big opportunity. So stop waiting for permission. You don't need to be loud. You just need to be seen. This was one of the hardest lessons for me to really absorb. Ambitions without gratitude leads to burnout. Real happiness in life isn't just found in achievement. It's in appreciation of what you're building. Now, don't get me wrong. Money and success matter. It solves a lot of real everyday problems. It gives you freedom, security, access, and peace of mind. And if you ever lived without enough of it, like I did as a kid, with my parents constantly trying to make ends meet, you know how important it is. But there's a deeper truth that success alone won't fix. I came across this quote by Naval Ravikant, a well-known tech entrepreneur and modern philosopher. It made me stop in my tracks. He said, "A fit body, a calm mind, a house full of love. These things cannot be bought. They must be earned." And that hit me because for so long, I believed once I hit this next goal, I'll finally feel good. I'll feel safe. I'll feel happy. But what really happened, every time I checked off a goal, I just moved the finish line and the goalposts. You know that feeling, right? You hit one milestone, and instead of celebrating, you think, okay, so what's next? And to be honest with you, there will always be a next. If you're not careful, you can spend your entire life chasing and never arriving. What helped me change this was a simple daily practice: gratitude while I build towards my dreams. Not after I succeed, not when everything's polished and perfect, but right here, in the process, in the mess, and in the waiting. Because I realized gratitude doesn't mean you're settling. It means you're grounded. It reminds you that life isn't just something you race through. It's something you experience. And no matter how big your dreams are, life is happening right now. And even when things are tough, there's always something worth appreciating. The fact that you're alive and well, that you haven't given up, even when it's been hard, that you're trying, even if nobody sees it. That version of you deserves your respect, your patience, and your love, because progress feels so much better and so much more sustainable when it's built on the foundation of your self-compassion. So here's something that took me years to learn that I would love to tell my younger self. Play the long game. Most people quit too early. They think they're failing because progress feels slow or because nobody is applauding their efforts. But slow isn't your failure. It's the price of your mastery. It's proof of your efforts. As Naval Ravikant says, play long-term games with long-term people. What he meant is that all the benefits in life comes from compound interests, whether it's in relationships or making money or learning, because the longer you stay in the game, the more the game starts to reward you. And it's not about chasing quick wins or viral moments. It's about compounding your effort, your reputation, and your unique skills over time. That's where true freedom and wealth and success, both financial and emotional, comes from. But what you'll find is that the real trap is that most people get stuck playing status games. They're chasing likes, praises, titles, and validation from people who don't really matter. And the problem with status games is they're zero-sum games. For someone to win, someone else has to lose. But real growth in yourself is not zero-sum. It's built by creating value, building trust, and being useful over time. And you're building something no one can take from you: your character, your reputation, and leverage. And those are the things that will carry you when your motivation runs out. So stop trying to look successful. Start playing the kind of game where you become successful. Real change is not a 6 weeks plan that you can buy. It's years of commitment and dedication to change yourself gradually. So start by making the decision to commit to the process and enjoy the compounding effect of your effort over time. So if you're feeling stuck right now, remember this: you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel totally confident. You just need to begin today with what you have. And in 6 months, a year, 5 years, you might just look back and realize that this moment, this one right here, was the turning point for you. So keep going, and I'm rooting for you. If this video resonated with you, you might also enjoy this one right here: 6 high-income skills you need to learn with practical ideas to help you build leverage in your work. And if you want more videos like this, hit subscribe. I make videos to help you work smarter, find clarity, and build a life you actually love on your own terms. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.